obviously he's might be the best owner ever in any sport. Definitely one of the tops. One of the main reasons that Los Angeles had all this success, that he was like a magnet to players to get deals done and to be able to have the best franchise out there. And this went on for 30 years, so it definitely wasn't a fluke.
Well, he's an owner that did everything that he could to make sure that his team had the best chance possible to win the title. He was all about success. He was very passionate, and that's something that you could feel from him. I wish I could have spent a little more time with him during this time, but he meant a lot to us. He was a leader for our team, I think for his franchise, for the city, and the guy that you would enjoy being around. I got the chance to spend the most time that I spent with him alone. It was the time that I went and visited him at the hospital, and that was probably the most meaningful time that I spent with him. We had great times when we won championships, those are magical moments, but are brief and are overwhelming, and there's a lot of people around you. But those, I always appreciate and embrace those one-on-one times, even though it was under those circumstances. It's a moment that I will always have with me.
Yeah, I do, and well, I mean, to me personally, I mean, he's obviously believed in me from day one, being a 17-year-old kid and to where I am now, and his competitive spirit, his vision, what this organization should be, and how it should go beyond basketball, and the kind of the global outreach that he had in his mind, and we talked quite a bit about that. We talked about the old times, and he obviously has had a profound impact on my career, to say the least. When we talked about getting another championship, and trying to put the Celtics in the rearview mirror, and that's something that was driving him, and it's something that continues to drive me. I think it's I think the last meeting that we had. I mean, we had a big meeting in Barcelona years ago, and I think it's the last one we had when I had a chance to I visited him at the hospital, and he was in good spirits. He was feeling fine physically. It was a really good day for him. Went on a couple walks, and we just talked. I mean, we just talked about my career. We talked about Magic and the Showtime Lakers, and talked about the Celtics and therapy. Just talked about all kinds of stuff. Now that was a good day. Well, because he's never really gotten that. It's always been Dr. Buss along with the players, and the accomplishments that the team has had, but not really just him as an individual and what he's done, not only for this franchise but for the city and for the NBA as a whole. He hasn't gotten that standing ovation. To be patient, not rush decisions. And when you believe in something, you act. And despite what public opinion may be, or what others, public pressure, sometimes can persuade people into making choices that aren't necessarily the best in the long run. And he never did that. He always stuck to his guns and made decisions that he felt were the best for the organization, and that's what I take from him.
Nonetheless, going through a day like yesterday has got to be pretty tough on everybody. Yet to see the outpouring of support and love for this man and respect, I think it had to make the family feel really good. Well, he was a loyal man, and I guess the one thing, he always came at a problem from a different space. You could think that you had all the angles covered in an acquisition or a trade or a free agent or a problem, and you'll sit down with him, and out of the blue he'd come at you from a different angle, a very unique angle, and most of the time the conversation that followed was productive. He would never say he was right all the time, but he had a unique way of looking at almost every problem that I was never able to exactly or precisely predict, what I was in for when I went to meet with him. And there are really too many, a lot of which I could share, a lot of which I couldn't share, to be honest with you. Magic tells a great story. When they decided to bring me on board as a player, he and Dr. Buss went on a picnic somewhere, I believe they said in Palm Springs, and they set out a nice blanket and a basket of, I don't tell the story that well, but at that point, Dr. Buss said, listen, if you can bring one player to Los Angeles, Irvin, who would it be? Tell me the people that you'd like to play with. And as Irvin tells the stories, he said it was me, and that was it. It was done. I really, although at that point as a free agent I had some other possibilities, Dr. Buss made his mind up. So to me, that's a very flattering, story that reflects my beginning here in Los Angeles. It's hard to say. He always kept you on edge. Like I said earlier, you'd sit down to meet with them, and you better be prepared and be prepared for a comment that you weren't prepared for. I guess you keep somebody around for 32 years. Maybe you did earn their respect. That's the only one. Other than that, no.